One of the biggest reasons that people have a hard time moving on after an abrupt breakup with someone who has an avoidant attachment is because if you identify as having an anxious attachment, even if that anxious attachment really started to get stronger while you were in that relationship, you also tend to be hyper vigilant. You are consciously scanning that person's behaviors, their habits, their patterns, in order to ensure that that person is happy at all times, and you're trying to avoid being abandoned. What's really difficult is your goal was to not be abandoned. And so you were altering parts of yourself subconsciously in order to keep that person in the relationship with you, and it didn't work. So you continue to ruminate after the relationship. Whenever you ruminate, you are looking back on the relationship and you are overanalyzing. And you cannot find what you did in order to fail at this relationship. You cannot find how you could have altered yourself in any other way in order to make this relationship more successful, except by making your needs smaller, by making your boundaries weaker, by shrinking yourself down and taking up less space, by being more easygoing. That's the only things that you come up with when you go back and you reflect on this relationship that would have helped this person to stay with you. And the biggest challenge is realizing that had you done those things, it would have caused you to disconnect more and more from yourself because you would have been self-abandoning in order to keep this person around. And what you actually needed was to hold them accountable and hold yourself accountable for what you need and for what you deserve in relationships with anybody. And setting that bar, no matter who it is. And everyone is expected to respect you and to live up to certain expectations in order to have access to you. And the longer that we continue to look back, the longer that we continue to put ourselves under a microscope and wonder what we needed to do different and how we could have been different to avoid abandonment, the longer that we're focusing on the wrong things. This person was going to leave as soon as you became more secure. What is your goal? Is your goal to keep just anybody around or this specific person around? Or is your goal to have healthy, fulfilling relationships where you feel seen, where you feel respected, where there is balance? Because if that's what you're looking for, you will not find that in someone who is unwilling to change their avoidant behaviors. Ever.